Hello there, lovely listeners, and welcome back down the red rabbit hole, which is feeling very festive right now. We've got a lovely little open fire, which is basically some sticks that we've set alight. We've got some stockings up, which are just
Fire hazard.
my old socks. Yeah, hang it. Well, as if the pile of sticks that we set alight isn't a fire hazard. We found some old tinsel.
More fire hazard.
There's just litter, actually. It's just pieces of no, it's just sweet wrappers, silver-sided sweet wrappers that I've stuck up and round. So we're feeling very festive, very cozy, very lovely down here in the place where true crime meets thriller fiction. With me, your host, Lisa Shepherd, and the wonderful, I want to call you co-host, but then I kind of don't want to feel like I'm talking you down a bit there.
No, I'm a co-host. We're both co-hosts.
We're co-hosts, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're
that's a title.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So with my minion with me today, V Peacock, best-selling author, also known as Nicky. Hi.
Hello, Lisa. Master.
Oh no, I want you to do a minion voice. Oh yeah, I want you to do like a little yellow round minion.
Banana. Banana.
Yeah, banana. I've seen clips of the voice actors who do the voices for the minions, and I think I love it. I think I would absolutely love that job. I wouldn't be very good at it, but that would be an amazing. They're so clever.
And you can, I think after about 5 minutes of listening to them, you can understand them. It's like pidgin English, isn't it? It's like,
it's just enough that you know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Nikki, how do you feel about Christmas?
That's a complicated question, Lisa. I'm not a fan of Christmas. I am a Halloween girl, as you know, which is probably why we have more Halloween specials than we'll have Christmas ones.
We did. We're just about clawing one together for you here, folks. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. Well, as we've spoken privately, I mean, I think it's different when you've got kids because you've got to keep the magic alive for the kids, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I don't have that issue. All my nieces and nephews now are well beyond the age of believing in Santa.
Oh, I love that it's an issue because that is kind of, as a parent of young children, that's slightly how I feel. Like, oh, here's something I think they'll really like that they really want from Santa, and I'm going to have to make a second visit to this location to get it at another time when they're not here. I've got to force them to write their letters so I know what I need to get.
It's a whole charade, isn't it?
Dear.
And
yeah, it
annoys me that the fat man in the red suit gets all the credit.
Yeah, well, he doesn't get all of it in our household, so I actually sort of just put a few things that come from Santa and then say that the rest of the things come from mummy and daddy or relatives or whoever, because I kind of don't want them to think that they can that he'll just bring them anything. I don't want them to kind of go into school and go, oh yeah, I got a Nintendo Switch, and like their friend goes, oh well, I got some socks. Santa obviously thinks much more highly of you than he does of me. Not that they think that way, but you know what I mean.
You're overthinking it.
No.
You've got this imaginary kid at school to worry about, and that's not your problem.
Here you go, Nicky. Here's a little question for you. If you're a parent and you need to book to see Santa, and you book a particular location and you like to stick to that same location, that same Santa, it's a good quality Santa. He puts on a good
got
act,
a real beard.
Yeah, he's got a real beard. They book the creme de la creme of Santas, and you want to book it. What month of the year do you need to book that?
January.
Not
See,
quite.
I'm very well organised.
Not quite. No, the tickets they don't release.
When do they release the tickets?
June.
Book it in June.
June. I'm always on blinking, like not always on holiday, but like it's blazing hot sunshine, and there's me trying to work out which weekend or which days they'll be off school and who will be where when, so that we can book in our Santa visit in June.
Book it in.
And then, of course, by the time it actually comes around and we're going there and I've got to find the QR code on the blinking email, and then like trying to search through my emails to find it.
Do you not have separate folders on your emails to keep stuff?
Well, yeah, but I don't like. Oh,
Just create a Christmas 24 folder.
oh, that's a lot
That's
of
not a lot
work.
of work because
Again, it
you
is.
balance that out with the time taken to find the emails.
Worn my poor little fingers out booking the damn thing in January, June, whenever it is that I have to book these things. But I mean, that blows my mind. If I was trying to book
Mm,
now, not a
no.
chance.
Well, you wouldn't.
Not no. If I was trying to book now, it would be the sort of shopping centre Santa with the stick-on beard and the queue and the not experience.
And the
Whereas
no DB
the one that
check.
we go to, yeah, the no DBS check in place. I mean, the one that we go to, you actually, because that's what makes it even harder. You have to send in information, and then he has like, it sounds a bit creepy. It's not, but he has like a book, and then he kind of addresses it like it's almost like quite personal to your child. So you'll say something that they've done really well. They sometimes ask for something like distinctive about their bedroom, and I go, I'm not going to tell you that. That's too creepy. I know. I've actually put it on the form. No, I'm not telling you that. That's too creepy.
Oh no.
But yes, you can sort of say you've worked really hard at that this year, and like tell him like what they got, like, what he got them last year, so that he can.
Oh man, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
See,
How's Santa gonna remember all that? He really is
he has it.
magical.
He has it. They do it. He does it really well. Honestly, that's what I mean. This is the creme de la creme of Santas.
I mean that's lovely. There is lovely parts of Christmas, but of course we're not down the red rabbit hole here for lovely things. We're here for dark and bloody and awful stuff, which is really what we're here for today, of course.
Yeah.
So we today, listeners,
all the best
all
things.
the
This
best
is what
things.
we want.
Yes. So listeners, we're talking about Christmas crimes.
Woohoo! Well, not just any Christmas crime.
We have a theme.
Well, this is the place where fiction meets true crime. And this is my favorite Christmas story, mainly because of the Muppets. Not that I'm discrediting the great work of Charles Dickens straight off the bat, but that is, yeah, the Muppets Christmas Carol is the best
It
version.
is.
And I will fight you if you try and suggest otherwise.
Hands down, this is the one thing I think perhaps we can agree on. Michael Caine is Scrooge.
Yeah. Brilliant. It is so brilliant. I saw once, because I did like a drama degree. When I was in college, we went to see a play, and in that play, the guy, one of the lead guys in it, who's really good, he was the one who played young Scrooge in the Muppets Christmas Carol, and I was massively starstruck. Because I loved it so much.
Oh, it's when he pulls out a Muppet and's like, "Hello, Lisa,"
and
you'd be like,
I would have loved that. I would have loved that so much. Like, and I think everyone else was a bit like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "That's the guy from the Muppets Christmas Carol. It's young Scrooge." Oh, but yes, it's the best.
What we do with a Christmas Carol then? What's the plan?
So we are going to be as tenuous as possible in making links between true crimes and a Christmas Carol.
This is like a challenge.
Yes.
I do like a challenge.
Indeed. Who do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
You go first.
Should I go first? Okay. So hang on, let me just open up my notes. I'm so well prepared, so organized, so on the ball with these things. Should have started preparing back in June, really, shouldn't I? Yeah, indeed. So, well, there's a couple of things kind of straight off the bat. So, in fact, Charles Dickens, his father was John Dickens, and John Dickens worked as a clerk. And of course, Bob Cratchit is a clerk in a Christmas Carol. Is it?
Yeah.
Christmas Carol, isn't it? Forgot. Oh, got lost. I was trying to actually do something proper rather than just chatting about rubbish. And he did end up getting imprisoned in the Marshalsea debtors' prison in 1824 due to his inability to pay debts, a common plight at the time. And a debtors' prison was in fact somewhere, like, it wasn't like a sort of full-on prison, locked up in cells. Like, often people had to take their families
It's
with
like a
them,
workhouse, isn't it?
and they'd have to live there. Yeah, it's a bit like a big old workhouse. So they'd have to take their families with them. And of course, Charles Dickens himself had to go out, and he had to start working. I think he was working in a blacking factory to support his family, and they think that this kind of deeply influenced some of his writing. But I was thinking that if debtors' prisons existed now, they would be chock-a-block,
Yes.
wouldn't they? Because I'm sorry, who hasn't got any debt? You'd have a whole load of graduates.
Yeah.
You'd have hundreds of graduates in there. You'd have people with credit cards. Like, that, everyone, you just get yourself a nice new car. You'd be like, get yourself a car on credit, and then go drive out your debtor's prison to go and pay it
Shall
off.
I blow your mind, Lisa?
Yeah, go
Maybe
on.
the whole world is a debtor's prison. Ooh, mic drop, stepping back.
Oh, we're all just...
And I'm done.
And she's done.
I'm out. That's it. That's my thought for the day.
She's won the Christmas Carol crime off.
The whole
By
world's
far.
the debtor's prison, and we're all working it off.
That is a really depressing thought, but it bloody well is,
It is.
isn't it? Well, it's mortgage, isn't it? Our
Yeah.
houses. No.
Mhm.
If you've got a mortgage.
I think we've gone to the nth extreme there, because as long as you're paying your bills, you're still good. It's when you can't pay the bills that you end up in debtor's prison.
That's true. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, so it's only that
He couldn't pay. He couldn't make his money, and they'd obviously, because they send the bailiffs around, don't they? And they take whatever they can to pay. But of course, what they take is like a fraction of the price it's worth, because it's all a big, massive con to suck you in, to make you want. Oh my God, I'm not having a go at like commercialism, because it's my favorite thing in the world. But
now she's getting the Christmas spirit.
And again, part of Christmas is like all the stuff, isn't it? Buy more stuff.
Yeah,
buy
but
more
it shouldn't
stuff.
really. It's like, yeah, it is, isn't it? That's what Christmas has become about. But then it's like commercialism, but with the moral side that it's not commercialism. So it's like all the adverts. The adverts are about goodwill and spirit and all that sort of thing, but it's also come and buy our
Which
stuff.
is what Scrooge was kind of played into, wasn't he, in the Christmas Carol? So what happened to the clerk then?
So, what happens to Bob Cratchit?
The clerk in your story.
Oh, the clerk in my story. So John Dickens, well, he went to the debtor's prison.
Oh.
And I'm assuming that Charles had to go with him, or the family had to go with him, and then Charles had to go and work in a blacking factory, in Warren's blacking factory. So as a child, he was working in a blacking factory, and it's actually where the boot black, a type of polish or dye, was used to shine and restore the colour of leather boots. So he was, so it's a bit of a bleak. You can kind of see where Dickens starts to create this bleakness.
You can see through time as well regarding, like, so that was probably just normal, whereas today that would be against the law and would be a crime to do that.
Unless you're a family influencer or a family blogger.
Well, yeah.
In which case, it's absolutely
and then you're
fine.
okay, as long as you live stream your TikTok with your boot blacking.
Yeah.
Or you do an unpacking video on YouTube, and then look what have we got?
That is a cow.
Charles, look, we have a quill.
No, that if you have live streaming from the debtor's prison, and it goes, and now we're going to cut live. I've got my son on Zoom here coming in. How are you getting on, Charles? I'm opening the box, Dad, and here it is, a black leather boot, and I need to polish it.
A rat. Rizzo.
Don't start on the rats.
I was bringing it around to something muppety.
Rizzo rat.
Yeah, you need to give me more leeway, Lisa. You just think I'm going to be nasty the whole time. I'm really not. Anyway.
So that was my first one, that Charles Dickens had criminals in the family. Kind of, if we were on screen right now, you would see that I am putting some quotation marks around criminal, because I don't really think that's a bad thing.
You've gone in with more of a social commentary there, whereas I'm going to come in with something a little bit nastier.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, cool.
And it's more of a general thing, because if you Google around, you'll find this in a lot of crimes.
Google around.
Google about.
It's like sleeping around. If you Google around, is it using more than one search engine? I've been cheating on Google with Bing.
yeah.
If you Google around,
Okay,
yeah,
if you Google around. So the whole
dirty
the
girl.
whole premise of A Christmas Carol is the ghosts, isn't it? That's what attracted me to the book. That's what I think makes it really, doesn't it? I mean, if there's no ghost, there's no story. Boil it down, you know?
Yeah. And of course, they are the ghosts of Christmas
Past, present, and future. Yeah.
and Marley.
And Marley. Yeah,
Jacob
yeah.
Marley's
Jacob
ghost
Marley
comes
kicks
as
off
well,
the
doesn't he?
whole.
In the doorknob. Does he appear? He appears in the doorknob, doesn't
I
he?
think you're quoting the Muppets
Oh.
rather than the actual book.
No, I think he
Are you
does.
sure?
No, I think he genuinely
Okay.
does. I'm not basing all of my knowledge of A Christmas Carol on
I'd hate to see your
on the
GCSE
Muppet
English
version.
exam if that was. And then Kermit did this, which Fozzie didn't
Which-
like at all.
Do you know what's worse in my days, years and years back when I used to be a drama teacher? I think we did a production. I think I did the play production of A Christmas Carol. But I think that's something about it actually, that it is probably in part due to the Muppets. It's very much now sold as a children's story, but it wasn't written as a children's story. I think Dickens wrote it for adults, didn't he, to scare adults into being moral, upstanding
There's horror
citizens.
versions, and I think it's all down to this thing that I was, I hate to keep saying it, but googling about. So
Let's all
the
do
big
it.
thing there is that the ghosts effectively gaslit Scrooge, didn't they? It was all a gaslighting supernatural story where they showed him not that I'm on Scrooge's side or anything like that. I mean, obviously he was a bit of a bad man. And wasn't that one of the songs, A Bad Man, Mr. Scrooge, or something?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember.
Feels right. But
Yeah.
but you got to admit they were very selective on what they showed him for their own means, which is very gaslighty. Now, for those of you that don't know, I mean, I would hope anyone listening to any kind of true crime podcast or even a literature podcast would actually know what gaslighting is. But shall we explain it just in case?
Yes, please.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought I told you to do it.
If you want. Oh, you told
No,
me
I
to
didn't.
do
See,
it.
I'm gaslighting you now. See? So
yeah,
and
I
you fell for it. See how
I am
easy it is.
Very vulnerable to a bit of gaslighting.
So gaslighting is when you deliberately make someone question their own reality. So like I just did to Lisa, I pretended that I'd told her something to make her think she'd forgotten. And then she'd do it.
And I was vulnerable because there is quite a good chance I'd forgotten. And I was meant to do something.
That's how it works, isn't it? I mean, gaslighting works the best on vulnerable people and also just nice people generally, which is quite a harsh reality. But yeah, it's all about and it came from, the term actually came from a play, didn't it, itself, a film called Gaslight.
Yes, it did.
And about a man that was trying to...
Good play. I've seen it. I've seen a very, very good production of it.
It was a man trying to drive his wife insane using gaslighting. And I think to a degree, a lot of people do it quite naturally on a small scale. But you will get people that will attempt this, especially like narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths and people along those lines, that will do it on a grander scale that has much more damage. And throughout most, I would say, I mean, true crime includes a lot of domestic cases, domestic violence, I mean, we were discussing, not that we would talk about this on air, but we were talking about a local case, Lisa, weren't we? We were actually talking about it. That does not mean gaslighting. We were actually doing it. Yes, we were. But
I'm not very good at gaslighting because I just gave in, didn't I? I didn't go, were we though? Were we?
You should question. But it's a local case that's going on currently as we're recording this that we obviously don't want to talk about on air. No, we're talking about it non-stop normally.
We were, yes. Well, can I recommend a podcast?
No,
on gaslighting.
No, because they should only be listening to us. We're the only podcast. I'm
Oh,
kidding. Go
well,
on.
that's a bit
I'm
me.
kidding.
You just gaslit me again. Something was wrong.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Something was wrong. There are lots and lots of series of it, and it is very good. And it is gaslighting. It starts off like, as we were talking about, a relationship, but actually, it looks at gaslighting in lots of different scenarios. It's
And
very
it's
good.
not just in, just relationships, like personal relationships. It can be on almost a global scale. I mean, just look at the world.
Yeah,
The politicians gaslight constantly. They
they
tell you one
do.
thing, they do another, and then they tell you that they did the other thing. And it's like, what?
Well, workplaces as
Work.
well. I think you
You
can
can
get
definitely get,
gaslit in
yeah,
your
you were supposed
workplace.
to do this. I told you to do this. Well, do you know what, love? Where's the email? Because that's what I'd say. You put everything in
Well, I
writing.
sent it back in June, and you can't find it because you don't
Stuff
put
in a
your
folder.
emails
Like
into
an organised
folders.
person should.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the three ghosts really did a number. And I'm like I was saying, it was
Yeah,
gaslighting for the
'cause
good, but it
yeah.
still kind of felt a little bit wrong, very much, especially the future, because, the future isn't set in stone. And to say that that was going to happen, because for all he knew, Scrooge might have invested some of his big money in something, I don't know, like the Ford company back in Victorian times or whatever, and got really big in automobiles, and didn't die the way, he made way more money, and perhaps he married a supermodel and
But
had children. We just don't know.
no, but because he was a miser, he's Scrooge.
Yeah, but
He's not, yeah, I
wouldn't a
mean, I
miser,
suppose
if
it's
he had a sure
become
thing, a kind of sure investment, would go for it?
money doesn't buy you
It
happiness,
really
Nikki.
does. just
Money doesn't buy you
That's what poor
friends.
people say.
Oh.
I
Oh.
always said, people that say money can't buy you happiness, they just haven't had enough money. Because it really can.
Oh.
It can certainly make life a lot more comfortable. If money isn't a worry for you, it's I don't want to get into too much into the kind of weeds of economics, things like that, but I always feel like, if money's not a problem for you, then you're free to think of other things and to have a better bandwidth for other parts of your life. But does it ever happen that way? Because I mean, Scrooge was never going to be happy, was he? With any amount of money
No.
that he squirreled away.
And I think we're gaslit by the idea that money doesn't buy us happiness, doesn't it? Like all like Scrooged the movie. Another very good version of A Christmas Carol. But in that, doesn't he definitely comes round to the money doesn't buy happiness kind of thing. It's a very Christmassy movie thing. But there's also part of me that just looks forward to being gaslit by Christmas into thinking that my life has meaning, even though I'm poor.
Keeps you warm and dizzy. Gaslit.
Yeah, keeps me warm and dizzy and full of wholesome nuts. Rather than the salted ones. I mean, why at Christmas do we only buy shelled nuts at Christmas? Is that a thing? Do you do that in your house?
We used to, but we've got a bit lazy now, and also my grip's not. You can't. I think the older you get, the worse. Because do you remember in the kind of 90s, and they had those grip things that everyone was using, and I never did that, so I think my grip isn't probably as good as it could be. I cannot open a beetroot jar to save my life. I could be starving, and I'd have to smash it against the wall.
Use a grip train of your. Oh, search around in your house, Nikki. I reckon you'll find one. You haven't been doing any deaf cleaning.
No, I haven't. Not recently.
Can you dig around and you're going to find one to work on your grip strength a little bit?
So come on then. What's your case?
Well, of course, a lot of A Christmas Carol is set in kind of the financial area of London. The financial kind of district, the now that, would be unrecognizable, where kind of business sprung up. And of course, Scrooge has a business partner who is Jacob Marley, and Jacob Marley has recently died. Now, I don't want to be bad on Scrooge. There is no suggestion that Ebenezer Scrooge had anything to do with the demise of Jacob Marley. In fact, we couldn't quite remember how Jacob Marley had died. So we think he dies of some sort of. I'm sure it was he eating chicken soup or something. Did he choke on? Yeah, he choked on something. But I found a case about business partners because I was thinking there's got to be some money motivated murder that has gone down. And I found the case of a businessman called Chris Smith. That is his real name.
Why wouldn't it be? That's quite a normal name. It's not like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, that's true. Chris had a wonderful life.
A
He was
wonderful life.
it's another good Christmas movie. Another good gaslighting Christmas movie, isn't it? That's a very good one, A Wonderful Life. He was a businessman, a business partner, and then suddenly in the summer of 2010, he decided to cast all of his kind of business life aside and cash out with his business partner and go off and just travel. And he went off to travel around, and he sort of sent up, he broke up with his girlfriend over a text message, and set off on kind of a boat trip around the world. And just sort of for about 6 months he was traveling, and he was emailing his family and telling what was going on, and that he was having some wonderful adventures as a jet-setting lifestyle, and that he was with a Playboy playmate, and that they were going from one wonderful, rich, beautiful location and sunning themselves on the beaches to another. But then the emails suddenly stopped. So 6 months in, he stops emailing his family, Chris. And at that point, his family were a bit like, "Oh, should we kind of get some help to find out where he is?" So they said that he was a missing person. Through the investigation, sorry, my notes are in a bit of a rubbish order here. They're a bit all over the place. So through their investigation, they actually found out that Chris had never gone anywhere. And in fact, he had, in the summer of 2010, fallen out with his business partner. In fact, Chris had never gone on his adventure, his exotic adventure with his Playboy girlfriends for that 6 months. He had, in fact, never left his office. His business partner was Edward Shin. And it was only when Chris's family had hired a private investigator, and the private investigator had started to look into Shin, to investigate the property manager, and kind of started looking at the offices where the two had had their business at the time. And when the private investigator went in to search around the office, he found what he thought was blood on a light switch and on the door. And he also found like a sort of patch on the floor where it had soaked, where a lot of blood appeared to have soaked through the carpet and into the concrete underneath. The DNA test would reveal that that blood was in fact Chris's. So Chris had never left that office. He had fallen out with Edward Shin. Edward Shin had been on probation at the time for embezzling money from another company. So he had restitution he had to pay, or otherwise he was going to be going to prison. And Shin had a family himself, so he had kids. He was kind of at this point of desperation. I think they had maybe a falling out of some kind. I don't think Shin has ever sort of said he initially did the common thing, didn't he, that they do, which is say, "Oh, I killed him in self-defense. He went for me first." And he claimed that actually Chris fell and hit his head on a desk and died. And then because he was worried, he sort of covered it up. But really, they're pretty certain that Shin in fact killed Chris in cold blood so that he could kind of take the money from the business. And he either beat him or stabbed him to death in the office before disposing of his body. Shin has never revealed the location of Chris's body, which is really rubbish and awful for the family, but also for the family that were told for 6 months that he was off doing this adventure, for the girlfriend who got dumped over text by someone who, in fact, Chris wasn't there. Chris had already been killed, and Shin was making all of that up and running that all from like another account. And I think he'd even got some, the minute it happened, had sent an email to an attorney about getting out of the business. So the first thing he'd done is go to Chris's email and send email account and send an email to the attorney about wanting to sell by be bought out of the business by Shin, so that Shin could take it over, and then he could go off on his travels, but he didn't go anywhere. So I thought, Yeah, so yeah, that was
One of
mine.
the biggest crimes there was the cleaner's job, really, because for all that
Yeah,
blood being left, I
yeah.
mean, they need a new cleaner. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that I mean, the office must have been a very quiet space if they, he'd kind of got away
Where's he
with
put the body?
this.
Because I mean, if well, I suppose depending on where the office is based, I mean, it's not going to be in the middle of nowhere like some sort of country cottage where he could have just buried it in a forest.
Yeah,
Someone's going to have seen
exactly.
something, and we've got the most It was in the UK, yes? No,
No, no,
US.
no, it's
Oh, that
American
makes more
case,
sense then.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there was more surrounding area then, because we're a little bit more built up, and we have more cameras, don't we?
Yeah, I was kind of, just going for a case where there were business partners, and I just thought the fact that he'd spent 6 months posing, and the sort of how outlandish he was getting.
I know, like living his dream, like living
Yeah.
vicariously through his murder victim.
Yeah, you imagine him kind of sitting there and, "Oh, I'm just gonna have to write this email now about all these wonderful things that I'm doing," and maybe if he hadn't stopped after 6 months, he would have.
Yeah, I mean, what did he ever say what made him stop? Just got bored of it?
No, no, I don't know. I didn't look that deeply into it, so maybe we need to,
Yeah, I
sort of
mean,
take a second
surely
look,
you
but
just to cover yourself, like send the main text messages to the people. I mean, the phone would have been locked, so he'd have to have unlocked the phone and
mm,
then sent the messages. And then the sensible thing to do would have been to get rid of the phone and then everyone to assume that this Chris has then just disappeared into the ether
mm,
because he's chosen to, or maybe even more insidious would have been to send a suicide note.
yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, ma to have kind of believed it for 6 months, and I think as the emails got more and more outlandish, Chris's family were more and more like, "Hang on, this doesn't sound right." But I think he was the kind of person who may well have gone, "Yeah, I'm just gonna pack up and go off for a bit. I'm gonna go adventuring," and I think people were a bit like, "Oh, that's the kind of thing he would do." So Shin had kind of he must have I mean, they were business partners. They must have known each other fairly well to have known but also to dump the girlfriend. The poor
Yeah,
girlfriend getting a dump by text, getting and she might have been sending and gonna get him his stuff back.
yeah.
Can I can we talk about this?
Closure.
I mean, yeah, it's just some closure of some kind.
And also, I guess the reputation as well, because I mean, obviously, then with all this stuff on email for 6 months, he must have got, everyone would be like, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? Why isn't he contacting us back?
So is he having some sort of midlife crisis of some kind?
That's,
It's an awful case, and I think, for Shin to then try and claim that it was self-defense, part of me wonders, did he wait until his computer was open so that he could get directly into those emails to send that email directly to the attorney saying, "Yeah, I wanna sell my shares in the business and get out and go." And it was only when they investigated, they saw that they went looking to see where his passport had been tracked to try and find him, and of course his passport had never left the country.
yeah. I feel like this Shin guy's not exactly the evil genius variety, is he? I mean, he didn't really think a lot of this through.
No, no. I think he think deeply about the emails. I think he was enjoying himself writing.
Well, yes. So I think it sounds like to me. I mean, it depends if we want to get on legal terms. If we're gonna go back to the Lizzie Borden case. I'm gonna be the defense, or you're gonna be the prosecutor here. But I would argue that it probably was a crime of passion because it doesn't sound very thought through at all. That he perhaps got angry. Maybe he asked Chris for help. He got angry when he didn't get it. He attacked him, or they perhaps did fight. And he did win the fight, and then he panicked and was like, "Oh, what do I do?" And then just made all silly the decisions got sillier and sillier as they went along.
Indeed. So it was a bit tenuous. I did say there were a few tenuous ones in there, but I was kind of I was thinking there's got to be some cases around business partners.
Well,
Isn't
there's
there?
a ton of Christmas cases, to be honest. I
Oh
mean,
no, well, yeah, it wasn't Christmas related, that one.
no, but no, but there's a ton of Christmas cases because obviously Christmas features very heavily in A Christmas Carol.
Clues in the name.
Clues in the name. I mean, because it's more Victorian times, I'd love to throw Jack the Ripper into A Christmas Carol and see what Charles Dickens would have done.
Well, just see what happens.
There'd have been like the
Yeah.
ghost of Christmas past, like emboweled on the pavement.
Well, I think though you would have, I think there'll be influence. The timelines work because he was very influenced by real criminals of the time. Because there was a Fagin, wasn't it? Isn't Fagin in
Yeah,
Oliver?
in Oliver Twist. Yeah.
Do you know who
Yeah.
he's based on?
No.
Or do I need to get to my? Hang on, let me get to my notes. Got to get to my notes.
God, you've been too well prepared this time.
I know, but I'm getting yes. I'm going. Hang on. Doobity boop boop boopity bum.
Oh my God, can you imagine which Muppet would play Jack the Ripper in the Christmas Carol?
Don't do that to the Muppets.
Do you think it'd be the
Speaker.
and he'd be like, he'd have just killed someone and be like,
Yeah.
with his hands up.
What is it he sings? Is it Mama?
Like,
Mama.
I was thinking the eagle. Is it
Mama.
Sam the eagle?
Oh, yeah.
He's got quite a stern. He looked good in a top hat and a cape, I think.
He would. But I also think, just knowing the Muppets, the revelation would be it was Miss Piggy or something like that.
She's just killing off all her rivals.
Yeah. Because it usually always is. So the story of Ike Solomon, a real criminal who inspired Fagin's character in Dickens' work. And I think he basically was who Fagin is. He was running a load of kids as pickpockets and things like that, and kind of well-known criminal of the time.
Well, on that depressing note, we're going to have to wrap it up, listeners. Get it? Wrap it up. Come on.
Oh, Nicky finally dropped a joke in the final few seconds.
Finally, I've been on point the whole episode.
You have. You have.
I'm
You
always on point.
are. Google around, folks.
Google around. Google around, but stay safe.
Stay safe, yes, and don't end up in bed with any gaslitters.
Gaslitters?
Gaslighters.
Gaslighters.
Gaslitters.
Or
people...
gasfitters.
Gasfitters. Yes.
Too many pipe jokes.
Yes, there are.
So listeners, do remember to follow the Red Rabbit wherever you find us on social media, and remember Patreon. So if you want to listen to more episodes than what you've got here, then sign up there. Don't forget us there. And of course, subscribe wherever you're listening to, because that subscription doesn't cost you anything, and it makes a massive deal to us and helps us no end, and will help keep the madness alive, won't it, Lisa?
Yeah.
It is the season, so a little early Merry Christmas from your thriller author, V Peacock.
I'm kind of gaslighting you now. I'm trying to make it a little bit haunting so that you've got it in your head all night. Like you'll lay down in bed and think of your ghost stories, and all you'll hear is.
Well, I see what I hear in my mind when I lay my head down is much darker.
Oh, I bet it
creepier.
is too.
It is. It's much darker and creepy. You can't compete with that.
Listen, Santa, she's not on the good list. Just put me on the good list. I've been very good this year.
Okay.
I'd like
I
a
believe
lay-in,
you.
thanks.
Bye, listeners. We'll see you soon.